All right, everybody, today we are going to talk about dealing with imposter syndrome. This is something that affects all of us, and it can be so brutally painful because you're trying your hardest and yet you're spending and have all this mental bandwidth of, am I good enough? Am I doing the right thing? Do I even deserve any of the stuff that I have? It's so easy to get off in that direction. I can always be drawn to it. And I think that this resonates with me so much because I struggle with this so much. I think about this all the time. And so dealing with this is something I've got a lot of experience in. And before we even talk about that, I have a really short story of something someone told me back in the day. We were working on a project and I said, how do you deal with imposter syndrome? Something along those lines. And they made the comment, who is the only person who doesn't worry about whether they're an imposter? And that kind of struck me like, damn, that actually makes sense. I never really thought about it that way before. The only person that isn't constantly worried of if they are an imposter is an imposter because they know I'm faking this. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'm totally like, I am an imposter in this situation. And this resonates with so many different situations in life. Often you hear, or I feel this as well, I think it's imposter syndrome across all of the different agencies or areas of life. You have people where you hear like, man, I'm worried about being a good mom, a good dad, a good spouse. I question is if you're worried and concerned enough to worry if you're doing the right thing, maybe you're doing the exact thing you should be doing. Because I know people, for parents, for instance, and I hate to say it this way, but it fucking is what it is. I know parents that don't give a shit about whether they're a good parent or not because they don't care. And I would say by definition, that would make them not a good parent. So I do think that the worry and the imposter syndrome in itself is an indicator that you're probably trying and you care enough to be doing the right things. So ever since I heard that comment, that kind of input on the situation, it really made me think about this a lot differently. But I've got 3 things that I do that I know help, that are going to push you in the right direction, but you're always going to have to stay fast on these and always be looking for new stuff and kind of remember that story I just gave you because it's something that can be daunting and it's something you're always going to deal with. There's no magical wave a wand over this situation. And I now know that I am awesome and I am validated and I bring value. It's just something that's not going to be that way. But number 1, have a plan and have some goals. I say this because to keep validating what we're doing and to bring value, so doing the right things, making the right contributions. If you have a plan and goals, as you get off track, if you get down on yourself, if there's a situation where you feel like I don't know what to do, you always have that plan to go back to, right? So when I get the most down, I get the most frustrated with myself. Sometimes it can be inundating and I just like, what do I do now? Well, at least if I've got the baseline goals, I can look at those and be like, okay, here's the plan to get to those goals. Here's what I should be doing next. Or even if I don't have a plan, if I've just got the goals, I can say, hey, what contributes to that goal? Because focusing on me feeling bad or being down on myself, that's kind of like, it's not doing anything positive, right? It's mainly negative. I can at least look at those goals and know, okay, hey, here's something I can do to be contributing to the cause, the reason, the things that I want to accomplish for whatever reasons I want to accomplish them. Number 2, speaking of accomplishments, if you're someone who's wanting to achieve and build things and create, just be the best you can be, it is very easy. We have a tendency to not look at what we've accomplished. And that's exactly what the second point is. Look at what you've accomplished. Take some time to just be at peace with yourself and write down what you've accomplished. And this is, I say these points because these are awesome points that I should be taking my own medicine here. And I do plan to do this. This is something I remember I did on the back of a book one year. And I wrote like, this year we did this year we did this year we did this year we did this. And I don't do that often though. And it's so easy to compile all these things that you've accomplished and then not discredit it, but not even think about how far you've come so far and just be thinking about why am I not heading in the direction right now? Why am I not exactly where I want to be? So take some time, just write out your accomplishments. And I can just think of a lot of crazy ones, like just even this year, like some of the overcoming this injury, Iron Man, whatever, but some of the more powerful ones, starting to having over 10 employees, first $1 million in sales, first $100,000, $500,000 in sales. All these things are massive wins that I think that we devalue over time because we think that there is better than there. And really, it's not where you're at or where you're going. It's a byproduct of being empowered and learning and loving the ride, the journey, right? You hear that and it sounds like it's just cliche, but enjoying the journey is a big part of it. And it's hard to do that if you never realize, man, there are some accomplishments. This is awesome. It's not all just about getting where you're going, because that can be very, very, I guess, deflating, really, once you get there, because you're like, okay, cool, now what next, right? That's why when I talk about goals, I'm always talking about be setting that next goal as soon as you're almost to the first goal, because as soon as you get there, that's kind of like deflating if you don't have the next thing to shoot up and pull you up even further, right? And when you're a goal-oriented person, you're a competitive person, you need that next thing to stake your claim on and keep pushing towards. Now, finally, after those two, the last thing that has helped me the best and has been really powerful for me to do. And I realize this even after, so often for me, really all I want to do is inspire people and try to bring value and help others and help others. Really, this channel is about helping other business owners learn so they can go faster and achieve more quicker. And I remember even on our first training day, I had all these insecurities of, do I even deserve to do this? Is this even the right thing for me? Like, why do I deserve to talk to these people? And at the end, and what this point is lean on mentors, okay? Now let me jump back into my story. Lean on mentors is this point, back into the story. I got through that day, training day. It was a freaking awesome day. And one of my original mentors was there. He was speaking. And we were catching up afterwards, and he said, I don't know what these people paid, but there's no way they didn't get way more than what they paid for. That was amazing. And I was just like, it's so easy to not give ourselves enough credit. It's so easy to get to a point, and I don't know where. I don't know. Maybe this is the way we all are the whole time. Maybe that's a function of being someone who wants to achieve, is not thinking it's ever good enough, which is a very thin line to walk, right? But so have mentors that you trust, that you can rely upon, that maybe have achieved some of the things you want to achieve or have achieved what you want to achieve, to go and to get feedback about what you're doing. Do you think I'm heading in the right direction? Is there anything I'm doing that maybe you think I shouldn't be doing or should point away from? Just to get that validation you're heading down the right path. So these three things, along with kind of my story from the beginning, those will help you manage imposter syndrome. But know you're going to deal with it. As I shoot this video right now, I'm thinking, as I'm talking about this, about, am I good enough? Do I bring value? Is there someone I'm helping? And ultimately, we are all capable of being an expert or being really good at something and sharing that with others. And no matter who you are, you can learn from someone that can bring value to someone. And so this is something we're all going to deal with all the time. But if you stick with these three things, kind of remember that story, it reframed some of this for me. So when I'm most frustrated or having these feelings, I've at least got that to go over with myself and kind of redirect my state of mind. So hope this has helped you so much. Share this with someone that's doubting themselves right now, because it's fucking easy to do, and it can be a massive, massive pit of despair sometimes. And then also give this a like, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment about the time you were most suffering with imposter syndrome, having self-doubt. What did you do to get out of it? Or leave a comment if it's something you're struggling with right now.